Well, Hellfire, it is Rock the Riff, and I am back for another Metalhead Envy. And I am doing the last song on Lovebites' new Judgment Day album, Lost in the Garden. This has been a pretty good album. There's a few that haven't clicked home with me, but there and again, I guess let me say that, like, I love power metal. I like metal, period. But I would say, like, power and thrash might be, like, I don't know, in my case and from my taste, like it has to be done just right for me to truly get into it. There's a few bands that are really speed metal that I really get into. Archspire, I love Archspire's newest record, and those some bitches are fast. Cattle Decapitation, that band is crazy fast. They've actually got a new song out that I'm gonna check out after I do this one. But I'm excited to hear Lost in the Garden. I still think Judgment Day, Dissonance, and Wicked Witch. I really like My Orion, but everybody told me in the comments they say Lion, My Lion. I really like those. I thought those hit home for me. But let's see, or let's dive on into Lost in the Garden. Yeah. Midori and Miyako. Those two are such phenomenal guitarists. Really, I could probably, I need to go on here and see and just find some videos of them too, like doing a lot of lead work and trading off and stuff. Not within the setting of an actual Love Bite song, but I'm curious to watch a couple videos of them, I guess, behind the music and see like little techniques and tricks and stuff that they do. See if there's anything that I could start grasping my mind on and maybe infusing into my own guitar playing because they got some killer chops, killer chops. Got a bit of that gallop. I dig this. It's very classical though. I don't know, maybe classical's on my mind. I did a Gal Norris. I don't know how Gal. I think that's how I'm supposed to say that band's name. Gal Norris. Gal Norris. Did one of their tracks the other day. Gal Norris, yeah, maybe. And everybody was letting me know that the guitarist's name was Shoe. And when I heard him playing, it just sounded so classical. And I think somebody left me a comment saying that it actually is uh, part of a classical song that's used into it. Yeah, Tchaikovsky's Violin Concerto in D. So it was almost note for the first part of the violin solo from the third movement. That's really cool. Like, I've always thought, and then I had some other people comment this as well. I've always thought like classical and metal go hand in hand. I think my favorite comment was this guy said, who was it? So Greesh Esquire was like, mate, the only difference between metal and classical is electricity. Wagner, Black Sabbath. That's how I read it in my head anyway. I don't know if that's your actual accent, Gresh. And if I murdered it, I'm sorry. That's what it sounded like in my head. But he's right. Like classical and metal, electricity. And like here, just a minute and 34 seconds into Lost in the Garden, that comment is like hitting home big time on that one. Aruna's feet hasn't stopped. I like Asami's melody. I can't understand it. I don't know what it is about my ears that just cannot wrap it my head around what's the words actually being said. Definitely if I had like subtitles on or if I read the lyrics, then my mind would be like click together and be like, okay, so that's what she's saying. But going in blind first time like this, I still can't hear. I still can't make out the words. But I love the melody. Like she's fitting right perfect into the song. I feel like I don't know, it makes me think of if you ever watch something and they've got a ball like bouncing on the words. I feel like her actual melody's kind of doing that in this song too. If that makes any sense. Maybe that comparison doesn't, but that's what I think of when I hear her. Yeah, here we go. I like that piano. Okay. That sounded like Fami getting a little bit of a bass run right there. Yeah, that was cool. Oh, I hope on the next album she gets to do way more of that. Yeah. Yeah. That was a cool little solo. I especially like the darker sections of it. I felt like, and I might be wrong in this, it started off with a key change, and then it had a few throughout it. But all I could think was like, dang, I wish I had my alternate picking in my box, my scale knowledge like that. Because I know once you've been playing guitar long enough, and it's like I can do a little bit of lead work. I'm not the best lead, not the best at writing lead work by no means, but there is certain little tricks that I can do like on command, and I especially like it's one of the best feelings in the world when you're with your band and you're playing and you actually like it's like I have a solo in the new one of the newest songs we just recorded, and it took me forever to work on it. And it's one of the best I've ever wrote, but I already know like now that it's been recorded and I've been listening to it and I've been playing it and I'm getting it to where like I almost can do it just note for note in a live setting. Let me rephrase that. I wrote the solo, I can play it, but when you're playing stuff live, there's just in my case, I get so fucking nervous playing in front of people. But when what makes it to where I get through my parts is I just rehearse my shit so much. I practice it so much. But I know the feeling when I'm doing something crazy on guitar, and even with the combination of standing up on stage, lights, audio, and the crowd staring at me, and I can nail everything note for note. There's like, it's hard to beat that feeling. It's like, fucking hey, man. And so when I hear Midori Miyako do these crazy licks, and especially when I see them live, I still will say that about Lovebites for me. I think watching them live on here on YouTube, I like that better than actually just checking out the studio versions. Because I mean, in the studio version, you have the time to make something sound perfect, and I still like seeing somebody play live and do crazy shit like this and nail it note for note. And Midori and Miyako tend to, when I watch the live videos, I tend not to hear too many notes out of place, even though it happens. We're all human. We're not robots, and shit. Error is going to be there, but it's just once again, Midori Miyako make it to where I'm like, fuck, man, I wish I had their knowledge. I don't want to. That's basically what I think I'd lack because I don't. I practice and I have the drive. It's the knowledge. It's like it's weird in my case. I'll learn a new trick every 3 or 4 months, and then I start trying to integrate that more into my playing. It's like I was watching something yesterday about selective picking, and one of my favorite guitarists, Charlie Robbins, broke it down on how it's actually done. And I was like, oh, okay. And anytime you watch him play it, it's like, how the fuck is he doing that? But then when he actually breaks it down in tutorial, it's like, it's not as crazy as you would think. It's like when I first learned how to do tap-ons, I watched the Backcountry music video for Avenged Sevenfold. I was like, fucking A. I think that's what back to my point of like, I need to get into a mode where I can watch Midori and Miyako actually break down their chops a little bit and see exactly what the magic is behind the illusion, or if that makes any sense. You know what? Yeah. That might not make no sense in my head. It does, but I'm a fucking redneck from goddamn deep south of America. So yeah, makes perfect sense to me. But basically, my point is them two are just killer. Even though like the song as a whole is not perfectly aligned with my taste so far, I never could take nothing away from the actual instrumentation. They are just They're all killers, man. They're all killers on their instruments. Okay. That was nice. Once again, the Queens proved that they are just fast as fuck. Fast as fuck, boy. They fucking bucket on some shit. Haruna is a beast. Like, I think me and my drummer were talking about it. And he's amazed too. Because the dude can play. The dude, he sells himself short, but there's not much I've never heard him actually be able to do. And I mean, the way he puts it is, he's like, yeah, he goes, I might can do like a flare. We were talking about gravity blasts yesterday. I was like, man, I've never really heard you get on the snare and actually be like on the snare. He's like, yeah, I can do it. He goes, but the problem is when you do stuff like that, most of the time it needs to be held out for a while. And he's just straight up admit, he's like, my endurance is my weakest link. And I was like, yeah. But I mean, hell, me and my guitarist will mess with him. We'll be like, because we'll be playing something and we'll be like, no, man, just hold that out a little longer. And he's like, guys, y'all don't understand. He goes, I am fucking using every bit. He's like, every muscle in my body almost, besides my tongue, I'm using to play this fucking 7-piece drum kit. So we like to give him hell on that. And I mean, after a set list, our set list at the moment, our last one we did at the gig was exactly 45 minutes. And it's crazy because a 45-minute set list for us, I think, is 6 songs. We got 6 songs that equals up to about 45 minutes at the moment. And when we get done with our set list, I look over at Hogan, and partially it's because he's sitting in the center of the stage and he's got 4 lights on him. But that motherfucker's just drenched in sweat. So when I hear Haruna and I think about everybody's let me know in the comments that she could do this, like their set list is like 2 hours. And I just think to myself, I'm like, holy shit, like that's hard. You can't take nothing away from that. And then hearing this list going through Judgment Day, I think this is, I've mainly watched and only listened to the studio version of this album, and the drums to the whole thing are just killer, man. Like I cracked the joke that they're speed queens because I mean they just book it. Every song is just booking it, fast as fuck. Like their average beats per minute to my ears is like 220. Like even Wicked Witch, which felt more of a slower song, still was fast as fuck. But this is definitely, Judgment Day is definitely a killer album. Lost in the Garden, I would give it 6 horns. Like there's nothing bad about the song, mix, master, production, everything's great. It's all off this same album. This whole album's mix, master, and production is fan fucking tastic. It's not a song that I would be like, yo, ever heard of the Lovebites? You've got to listen to Lost in the Garden. But at the same time, it's definitely not a bad one. at all. Like it if I was listening to this album from start to finish, this is definitely not one to skip and everything. It's got some cool stuff in it. I do I do like the little bit of flavor that's added and peppered through this. I heard Fami or Fami. I still don't know if I'm pronouncing her name just right. I heard her have a little couple bass flares up, and I'm like, now that they have her, now that she is a part of Love Bites, I hope she gets a bigger chance to shine on their next album. Everybody told me that they had already wrote this album before she joined the band, so I kind of get why it's still there's not really any bass driven parts except for in Judgment Day. I think that's why that's my favorite song. Is not only is it let all the other ladies shine, but it lets the new bass player get some spotlight too. And I think with her on board, what was the previous bass player's name? Mia, Mio. She was a cool bass player. I don't think she had the chops that Fami did, or at least she never showcased the chops that Fami has. I guess that's a better way to put it. Mio and Fami could probably play basically the same thing, but it seems like Fami like actually shows the chops off and goes to town. It's like the other band I mentioned, Archspire, their bass player. That motherfucker gets to shine a lot in their music because he just tapping. I mean, just with a can't remember if he plays a five or a six, but either way, like just going to town on the bass and stuff. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the next Love Bites album. I hope I hope like don't change the foundation of Love Bites, but I'm ready to hear them do some other like incorporate some more styles, more influences into their stuff. Out of what little bit I have checked out of Love Bites, that's what I'm saying. Like in my case, this is all my opinion. I've only listened to what the fans have let me suggested to me on YouTube here. So I've like this. I think Judgment Day is my first album that I've actually went through every song on there, just straightforward through, and they have this particular sound mastered. I think they almost could write it. They almost have a monopoly on like this power metal, thrash metal for an all-girl Japanese band. There was another band I've been checking out, Bright Ear, which they're really good. They're really talented too. The last song I checked out for them was more of a classical or more classic old school metal song, and I would say I think Love Bites does that particular sound better than any other all girl Japanese metal band that I've checked out and everything. They they're killer. I guess my main point in saying all that is I'm excited to hear what's next for Love Bites and see what all gets written with the new bass player in mind and stuff like that. But yeah, I think I'd give the whole album. I definitely would give the whole album at least 8 horns. There's nothing you could take away from the actual songs. They're all killer songs wrote. I think the last 2 horns are all just personal taste. That's basically if I was super into this type of metal, it would be like 11 out of 10 horns out because I mean it's killer. Like anybody that's into Iron Maiden or like Judas Priest and that type of metal, y'all motherfuckers gotta love Bites. Like this has got to be one of the best modern power metal, thrash metal bands out there. And I know I haven't listened to every one, but from what little bit of knowledge I have, Love Bites definitely it's got to be in the top 10 for sure. Hmm. So yeah, that was cool, and I'm glad I made it to the whole album. I hope everybody that checks this out, hope you'll leave me some cool comments. Leave me some more band suggestions. If there's any Lovebite song I've missed, I don't know which ones that people have. I can't remember because I have got a lot of comments on it. Which ones I've done and which ones people have requested that I haven't got to yet. I'd have to spend like 2 days going through all the comments. So on this video, leave me some comments. Let me know. If it's your first time here, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. I'm always trying to get better at doing YouTube and checking out as much music as I can across the world to increase my own music palette. And with all that being said, stay positive, stay rocking, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.